morning, everyone. Today I would like to talk about my hometown, which is named Chongqing. And this
Thank you so much.
yeah, this is one of the most significant buildings and it's part of where the government have conferences and have a big meetings. So firstly, before I talk about my city, I want to let you guys take a look at this photo and make a guess which city it is.
Pittsburgh.
Yes, okay. So this is Pittsburgh, and after traveling all the places in the US, I found Pittsburgh is the city that looks like my hometown the most. And you'll be able to see why. First, you can say, the downtown looks like a peninsula, two rivers merge, and this is actually the beginning of Ohio River. So this is where Ohio River starts. And take a comparison, look at the right. So that's my hometown. It's very similar thing. Two big rivers merge at the downtown, and downtown looks like a peninsula. The only difference is the size is bigger. And you can also see the color of two rivers are very significantly different. So sometimes they could look like similar, but sometimes it could be totally different. Like yellow or green, or it could be other color I will talk about later. So, firstly, a quick introduction and background on my hometown. As you can see on the whole big map of China, that's where my hometown is located. It's in the southwest. And as you can imagine, in most countries, the coast is where the most developed cities are. That means my city was not that developed, especially in the past, because it's very inland. However, the good thing is, you can see the two big rivers go merging downtown. That means it gives us a lot of advantage in transportation because of the big rivers. So, and that's how this city was developed in the first. And this city, it is actually one of the only 4 cities in China is directly governed by the central government, which you can think about it has the same status of a DC. So there are 4 cities in China, which including Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing, and Tianjin. My hometown is the youngest. It was established only 29 years ago, 1997. The point of make this happen, become the newest central government city is because the country knows the West, the inland, need better developed. So they want to put more resource. So they use my city as a flagship example to make the change and lead the change. And also you can see at the big city, we have 32 million population. It's actually the largest city proper by population in the world. And let's take a closer look at the size. So how big is it exactly? It's actually almost the same size as Austria as a country or South Carolina as a state. So you can imagine how big it is and how many people are there based on the size. My city has a history of 3,000 years. And this is just one of the examples of the rich history as a giant sleeping Buddha, which is about 50 feet long. And this is built 1,000 years ago. Another very cool part of the history is during World War II, because Japan invaded many of the countries in Asia, including both China and South Korea and Korea at the time. So both countries had to move their capital because of the war, because both capitals used to be at the front line or by the coast. So in that case, that means an inland city becomes safer, much safer. So both countries actually moved the temporary capital to my city at the same time during World War II in the first few years of 1940s. So it became one of the only city and capital of 2 countries at the same time, which is very unique. I have no idea about that until later in my age. Also, we talked about the river earlier, and I want to give you more knowledge about what this river river is about, because this is called Yangtze River. It's the third longest river in the world, right after Nile and Amazon. It's almost as same length as long as Amazon, a little shorter. So it's almost 4,000 miles long, and you can say it crosses very big part of South China. So it's also one of the two rivers as Mother River of China. It's basically like the main city of China. And also you can see from the picture on the right, the river actually looks red. That means sometimes, especially in the summertime, the river color can turn into red because the soil color is red. So when it rains heavily, soil goes to the river, it changes colors to red. So the color could be very dramatically changed in yellow, green, and red. That's very cool. And then along with the river, there's another very amazing thing. It's called free board. So if you look at the photo on the left, so it's just one of the picture of the third board. Third board is about 100 miles long. It's a segment of the Yangtze River where you travel through the river, and there are just 3 big gorges on that segment, and it looks very spectacular. And it actually, in the past, especially before my city became much more modernized, it used to be one of the most attractive things to do for foreigners to take a cruise, to start from my city, take 5 days or 7 days, all the way to the coast, to Shanghai. So that's a whole 5 to 7 day cruise, and they will be able to see all those. And then right at the three board, they built in the late 1990s, they built the biggest dam in the world, which is called the Three Gorges Dam at the time. It is so big, and they raised the water level by 130 feet. That means it became from a river to a giant lake, and the water was destroyed a lot of times, a lot of places. So during that 10 years or 15 years, it's one of the biggest migration in China because they have to move millions of people to new places to settle down. So that's a giant challenge because you have to find new place for them to settle and also have the money to do that. Also because there are a lot of historic temples, statues, all of those along that places. The government even moved an entire temple together from a mountain to like 100 miles away. It's crazy, like how much effort they try to save the history and people's life. And yeah, that's one of the biggest achievements there. But definitely one of the risks of dam is because it dramatically changed the geographic feature of the entire area. So it can increase the chance of earthquake. So that's the side effect of this dam. And then let's talk a little more about the development. So since 1997, because we become one of our cities, we get so many more resources than we could have, and developed so quickly in the last 30 years. I think the metro system is one of the big examples because the first line opened 22 years ago in 2004, which was a line go to my mom's place, and which was probably, initially it was maybe 10 or 15 miles long, and now after 22 years, we have 12 lines and 357 miles in the city, and it covers most everywhere you have to go to easily. So you can see like how dramatically the city has been expanded, developed, and how much easier for people to travel. And also I can share how cheap the ticket is. So the ticket started from 30 cents for 3 stations. So definitely the longer you travel, the more you pay, but I think the most you pay is less than $2, maybe 1 half. That's how for the public translation. Next, my city is actually known for 3 hots, which is very fun. The first one is hot weather, because it's surrounded by the mountains, so it holds all the heat in the summer with all the humid rivers. So you can imagine it's just like Texas or Louisiana in the summer, like super hot and humid. And hot food, the spicy food, the hot pot, it's originated from my hometown, probably 18 or 1500 years ago. It used to be cheap food only the laborers eat, because what they do is because they get super hot in the summer and they have to drive with the ships, everything, and then they just get something super spicy, and when they, after they eat food, they sweat a lot and just make you feel good. So that's how the hot pot starts. And you just throw all kinds of food, like seafood, fish, meat, mushroom, vegetable all together in that pot. It's super fun for family to share. So, and you can see now hot pot become the #1 comfort food in China. Yeah, there are probably like 100,000 hot pot restaurants in China, I guess. Yeah, and hot girl. So the thing is also because of weather and climate that just generally make the skin good. And anyway, yeah, this is what it's known. Okay, so the nickname of my hometown in the past, in the old time, it was Mountain City, it's very obvious. Also, it was called like Fog City. It's kind of had the same issue as Pittsburgh, London, or the cities used to have, because they have all the heavy industry, the steel industry, all those. So it used to have very heavy bad pollution. But after all the years, so the air pollution issue has been dramatically improved. And now people call it an 8-dimension city, just because how interesting, because how bad GPS works. Because there are always roads over another road. There are always bridges, there are bridges maybe like 5 layers. And also, just look at this. So the match way to go through residential buildings as a station inside. And that's also the permanent building in my parents live. The station is literally on the 4th floor, and they live at the 26th floor, like that. And also, just the same example, if you left the building from the front direction, then you left at the 1st floor, but there are many times there are roads on the back side, and you might leave the building at 13th, 14th, 18th floor, and on another road on the back. So that means you never know which floor you could exit or how to get somewhere, because it's just like all 3D and very confusing for people to see that the first time because all the roads are not regulated because of challenge of building. So last but not the least, what I want to say is the thing about my city is it has all the challenges be a mountain city to build everything with 3 times, 5 times cost, compared to a flat city, right? But the thing is that made my city so unique. And as you can say, we built all the night views, all the giant bridges. Every bridge has unique designs. So that just make my city become so attractive nowadays because of the uniqueness. So, as I said, it's the same thing, right? During the World War II, the city became the temporary capital. It's also because it's an inlet, it's not coast. So I think to summarize it, I just want to say that we never know whenever one thing is an advantage or disadvantage. But if we make good use of it, it becomes an advantage. But if not, it's disadvantage. It's all about the leader, about everyone to decide what direction to go, and that's what my city become what it is, and be viral on the internet nowadays. And thank you. And if you guys have a chance, welcome to see my city. And I think this year I will take my wife to go to China first.